We try not to play favorites, except when it comes to business cards. The Chase Ink cards are by far our favorite business cards out there. Keep listening to hear why we love them so much and why you should definitely have them in your wallet. Welcome to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. We are three moms who've discovered how to leverage credit card welcome offers to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of travel expenses for nearly free. We've used credit card points and miles to take vacations to places like Hawaii, Paris, Greece, Maldives, Japan, and so much more. And the best part, we each still have 800 plus credit scores. Imagine being able to take the vacation of your dreams for nearly free. It's totally possible, and we're here to show you how. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Pam, Alex's mom.
And I'm Jess. Let's talk points. So I know what you're thinking. Business cards? I don't have a business. I cannot count the number of times we've heard that. And yet we also frequently hear from people who didn't think they had a business when in fact they did. We've talked before about how business cards are crucial to each of our credit card strategies. But before we get to exactly why we love the Chase Ink cards so much, Alex is going to give a quick refresher on qualifying for business cards.
Okay, so like Jess said, we hear this all the time, and it is so much easier than people think to get a business card. You don't need a thriving business. Any side hustle will work. I can almost guarantee that anybody has a side hustle that would work for a business card, and if you don't have one, you can easily create one. So, for example, when I first started, my side hustle was Facebook Marketplace. So if you want to get business cards, create or just start selling some of your old things. There you go. You've got a business. Easiest one that I can think of. So that's the first thing. Any side hustle qualifies. You do not need an EIN. You can apply as a sole proprietor using your social security number. So when it asks you for an EIN, you can just select social security number, put that in. The cool thing here, though, is with the ink cards, if you have an EIN, you can get more than one of each. So let's say you apply using your social security number. You could then apply using an EIN. It is free to create an EIN online from the IRS website. Super easy. Okay, so here are just some general tips when you're filling out an application for a business card. When you are applying as a sole proprietor, you are going to use your legal name as your business name. Don't go making up a name like Alex's Facebook Marketplace business or Alex's resale site. You do not want to do that. You want to put your legal name as the business name. Then it'll ask you for your combined total household. It'll ask you for your total household income in the personal section. That is your combined household income. So if you have a spouse, you would include both of your incomes in that section. You do not need to have any employees. We have followers who have gotten approved with as little as $500 in yearly revenue. So it doesn't need to be some thriving thing. Like, it's actually a lot easier than people think that it is. We also have, I will link it in the show notes. There's a reel that I made on Instagram, and it walks you through exactly how to apply.
The other thing too is that I think people think that they have to have their business up and running before they apply for a business card. And the thing is, even if you were starting a legitimate business, you want to get a credit card to charge your business expenses on before you even start your business. You want to have it ready to go. And so you don't need a year's worth of income to say, okay, I have a business now. Under your revenue, you're putting your projected income for that year. The bank is not going to follow up with you and say, did you actually meet this revenue that you put on the application? You are just projecting in the next year, I think I might make this amount of money. And so I think people tend to overthink it and make it more complicated than it really is.
Yeah, for sure. And you also don't need a business license or anything like that. You literally need a social security number and a side hustle, and you're good to go. Okay, so now that we've covered how to qualify for business cards, let's move on and give a little overview on all the different ink cards. So Jess, get us going.
Okay, so technically there are 4 ink cards. We are going to concentrate on 3 of them. And people will often message us and say, should I get the ink preferred or should I get the ink cash? And I'm like, you want all of them. It's just a matter of what order you apply in. But ideally, you want all 3 of the ink cards that have transferable points, which are the ink cash, the ink unlimited, and the ink preferred. So which order you decide to apply for, like if one of those has an elevated offer, you're going to want to apply for that one first. But ideally, you eventually want to get all 3.
And that's an important thing because a lot of people say, I have the ink cash. Can I get the ink unlimited too? And as Jess just explained, yes, you can have all of them. And I can see where there's that confusion there because with the Chase Sapphire cards, you can't have both of them. But with the inks, you can have all of them at one time.
So why these are so valuable is that none of them count towards 524. And so when you open an ink card, you are not adding to your Chase 524 total. And for those who need a refresher on 524, it's basically that Chase will deny you for any of their cards, personal or business, if you have opened 5 or more personal credit cards from any issuer in the past 24 months. So they will not add to your 524 count, but you do need to be under 524 to be approved. And so that's why we sort of recommend these towards maybe the beginning of your journey or when you're in a place where you are under 524, because you're going to be able to get a ton of Chase points and it's not going to add to that 524 total. The other thing to note is that the ink cash and the ink unlimited do not have annual fees. And so you are earning tens of thousands of points, hundreds of thousands of points if you got both of these with no annual fee. Like that is unheard of. It is amazing.
And a lot of times the annual fee credit cards have the best welcome offers. And this is one of those rare scenarios where you see no annual fee cards with incredible welcome offers. Like we can't get enough
Yeah.
of these. We're like honestly obsessed with the ink cash and ink unlimited.
The other thing to note is that the ink cash and the ink unlimited, which as I said are the ones that have no annual fee, they are marketed as cash back cards. So if you look at the card page, it's going to say $750 cash back. You are actually earning ultimate rewards points with those cards. If you have a Sapphire Preferred, a Sapphire Reserve, or an Ink Preferred, which is the one I'm about to get into, you can transfer your points from those no annual fee Ink Cash or Ink Unlimited to your Sapphire Preferred, to your Ink Preferred, and then you can transfer them out to partners like Hyatt, Southwest, and United. So instead of getting $750 cash back, you're turning that into 75,000 Hyatt points, 75,000 Southwest points, 75,000 United miles. Like these are ridiculously valuable cards.
Which those 700 or 75,000 Hyatt points are worth a heck of a lot more than $750. So you're going to get way more bang for your buck by transferring these out than cashing them out.
Exactly. So I'm going to start off talking about the Ink Preferred. The Ink Preferred is basically the business version of the Sapphire Preferred. Super similar earn rates and redemption rates and all that. So the difference is the standard offer on the Ink Preferred is 100,000 ultimate rewards points after spending $8,000 in the first 3 months. So that is a ton of points. I don't yes, that spend is higher obviously than the Sapphire Preferred, but I don't consider that an unreasonable amount of spend. Like you're talking less than $3,000 a month, and with how expensive things are nowadays, I feel like that's not even that much out of the realm of possibility. Like groceries alone can make a huge dent for a family, at least for me, Alex. I'm assuming with 4 young boys that makes a huge dent.
Oh, I mean, I don't even want to get into it. Like this summer with all of them home, it's crazy.
So when you factor in grocery store and Costco runs, that is not that far of a stretch to hit that $8,000 in 3 months. It's going to have a $95 annual fee. This one earns ultimate rewards that can be transferred directly to transfer partners. So like I said, Ink Preferred, basically business version of Sapphire Preferred, you can transfer those points right out to transfer partners. You are going to earn 3x on shipping purchases, advertising purchases made with social media sites. I know none of us really focus on those categories, but you also earn 3x on internet, cable, and phone services, and you earn 3x on travel, which is huge. I will say, so I have both an Ink Preferred and a Sapphire Preferred. Sapphire Preferred earns 2x on travel. And so people will say, well, why would you charge your travel to the Sapphire Preferred if you have an Ink Preferred? A lot of times with the Ink Preferred, I know for the car insurance, you do get primary car rental coverage, but it's only for business travel. And so unless you are legitimately doing business travel, I do not recommend charging travel purchases to this card if you're going to want to rely on those protections. It just makes me a little bit nervous that they're going to say, well, you need to prove that this was business travel in order to potentially reimburse you for anything. So I kind of play it safe and charge all my travel on my Sapphire Preferred, but it does get 3x on travel and then 1x on everything else. Like the Sapphire Preferred, your points are worth 1.25 cents each when redeemed through the Chase Travel Portal. So if you earned 100,000 ultimate rewards from the welcome offer, that would translate into $1,250 if you redeemed those through the travel portal. Like Alex said, you're going to get a ton more value even above that if you transfer them to transfer partners. I consider if you were to transfer 100,000 points to Hyatt, I personally value those at least $2,000. And so, but if you want to take the easy way and just like simple redeem through the travel portal, you're looking at a minimum of $1,250 when redeemed for travel. So not too shabby for a $95 annual.
Not too shabby at all.
All right. So Pam is going to give us an overview of those two no annual fee cards that I mentioned.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Ink Cash and the Ink Unlimited. Both great cards. I hold each of them. Like Jess says, neither one of them has an annual fee. And I'm always surprised because I will get a lot of messages from people saying, oh, I think I'm going to cancel my Ink Cash and my Ink Unlimited. And I'm going, because I don't like paying annual fees. I'm going, but there isn't an annual fee. So that's a good thing to remember. There is not an annual fee. So there is no rush to, cancel these. I also get questions about people that want to know what card has a 0% interest. And although we don't ever carry a balance on our cards, there's times, I guess, some people would like to pay for something, have a little longer to pay for it. Each of these cards have a 0% interest for 12 months. So the answer to that question, if that's what you're looking for, is the Ink Cash and the Ink Unlimited. Now, they do charge foreign transaction fees. I made that mistake one time of taking my Ink Cash with me to Europe and using it. And I got back and going, why do I have all these charges for foreign transaction fees? Well, never again does that card go with me. So they do charge foreign transaction fees. You don't want to take them with you when you're traveling internationally. The standard offer for both of them is 75,000 ultimate reward points after spending $6,000 in 3 months. Now, if that can be converted to ultimate rewards if you have one of the Chase Sapphire cards, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or the Ink Preferred card. So the Ink Cash currently has an even better offer right now, though, because it does offer that 75K points, but you can spend that $6,000 in 6 months. This makes it a lot easier for people who say, and we hear a lot of people say, oh, I just have trouble spending $6,000 in 3 months. I'm really worried about that. But this makes it just a no-brainer to get this card instead of the Ink Unlimited or the Ink Preferred if you're worried that you can't make that minimum spend. The Ink Cash earns 5 times at office supply stores and internet, cable, and phone services. 2x at gas stations and restaurants, and 1x on everything else. The Ink Unlimited is super easy because it earns 1.5x on everything. So that just makes it, you don't even have to think if you're spending on that.
I like to think of my Ink Unlimited as like my don't think about it card, because it's just like one that I have in my wallet. And when I don't feel like, oh, which card should I use? What am I going to earn? I'm just like Ink Unlimited, 1.5x on this purchase, done, easy. So yeah, I think they all have their place and like they're all valuable for different reasons. But like you said, we have all three and I want to always have all three.
And these are cards where, like, I actually use all three. There's a lot of cards we get that sit in our wallets or like in a sock drawer. I use my Ink Unlimited just like you said. I also have a Freedom Unlimited and they're very similar. And so whatever one I have with me is kind of the one I use as the not think about it card. And the Ink Cash is really nice. I have that saved to my internet provider, like just in my account. So I'm automatically getting the 5x each month. And then, like you said, with the Ink Preferred, it's really nice. Like when we have to book, sometimes if we have to book something for us as Travel Mom Squad, I will use the Ink Preferred because we're obviously doing business travel. So these are good cards. Like, I don't want anyone to get in their head about worrying about, oh, I need to use this card for this purchase and that for this. But these are cards I actually we do recommend using. If you're trying to maximize your bonus categories, these cards can help you out, especially because you're going to get the best points.
So if you decide to apply for an Ink card after listening to today's episode, we would appreciate it so much if you use our affiliate links. They are a great way to support us at no additional cost to you. We're going to put a link to all of these cards in the show notes.
All right. So like Jess mentioned earlier, there is an additional Ink card. It's called the Ink Premier. And this is one we don't talk about as often because this card does not earn transferable points. It is strictly a cashback card. And oftentimes we will get a message from somebody and they'll say, I accidentally got the Ink Premier card and I meant to get the preferred. So just make sure those names are very similar. When you are going to apply, make sure if you want the preferred that you double check and it says preferred and not premier. That being said, if you apply for the premier, it is not all lost. This is by no means a bad card to have. And like we said, you can get all of them. So it's like, okay, well, I accidentally got the premier. I'll just go get the preferred next time. So the premier, you will get $1,000 cash back after you spend $10,000 in the first 3 months. So it is a higher minimum spend. You will, but I mean, you're getting 10% back, like $1,000 cash back. That's a pretty good return. It has a $195 annual fee. What's interesting about this card is you will earn 2.5x on large purchases of $5,000 or more. So let's say you have to pay estimated taxes and you're going to be paying more than that. You'd actually come out ahead putting it on this card. So, and then it earns 2x on every other purchase. So if you're wanting to earn some cash back, the rates are really good. The return's really good. So like I said, the only option for these points to redeem them is by cashing them out at 1 cent per point. This could make sense if you want to pay for things that you typically can't use points for. This could be a really good card to pay for excursions, vacation rentals, cruises. Jess, I know that you've gotten this card. Why don't you kind of tell us what you did with it?
So I got this card. Ted got it, but he got it on purpose because we were just in a spot where he already had all three other Ink cards. And so I was like, well, if we can get $1,000 cash back and it's not going to count towards 524, then that seems like sort of a no-brainer for us. And like you said, I pay estimated taxes. And so I basically made money on my tax payment when I hit this minimum spend. But we are going on a Disney cruise. I actually leave in 2 days. By the time this episode comes out, I will have already returned. But Disney cruises are expensive. They're like historically one of the most difficult things to use points for. And so I said, you know what, you're gonna get the Ink Premier. It's not gonna count towards your 524. we're going to get $1,000 cash back, and I'm just going to cash out those points and put that towards the balance of our cruise. And so, yeah, I mean, it's super easy to do. I think it was a statement credit, or no, actually it was a direct deposit. It just like came back into our Chase account as a direct deposit. And so super easy to do, but I agree with Alex that a lot of people accidentally apply for it. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the names are similar, because I'm thinking maybe they're hoping people accidentally apply for the Premier. But yeah, I have no regrets about getting it. And I think I wish the points were transferable. If there was an ultimate rewards card that earned 2x on every purchase, that would be pretty amazing.
Oh man, that would be
for now,
really amazing. We would have that, and that would be our always spending card.
yes, yeah. No, but for now, I mean, if you want to use it for excursions or food or vacation rentals, it's a good option.
So we cannot get enough of the Chase Ink cards. The Ink Preferred, Ink Cash, and Ink Unlimited are our favorites, as we'll take all the Chase Ultimate Rewards we can get. If you haven't opened an Ink card yet, what are you waiting for? If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and share the episode with a friend. Thanks so much for your support.
Thanks so much for listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Mom Squad. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.